The dust settles on an incredible championship fight as only two drivers remain eligible for the Season 19 Westlake Royal Building Products Premier Series Championship. Lucas Lodato, the title frontrunner for the entire season, leading the championship standings from Daytona to today. He is now at a crossroads. He is only 14 points ahead of the rapidly charging Scott Zellner, the all-time winningest driver with 21 victories under his belt. Those two remain as the only drivers that can come away with title hopes as a reality. That will come to pass after 140 laps tonight. Welcome to the Lady in Black. This is the Darlington Raceway, the track too tough to tame. Welcome back to the Highline Racing League live on FTN for our final race of this 15-race calendar. Season 19 has been remarkable, and now it comes to a close with our two best drivers pitted head-to-head. Lodato, the 3-year vet, breaking out this season, and Zellner, statistically speaking, the best to ever do it, looking for another championship. Welcome back live on FTN Broadcasting. I'll be your host for tonight's event. I'm David Kreutz, commentating and producing. Getting back to business now, the Iora Cup Series taking a week off. It's all about the Highline Racing League on this Thursday night with 2 minutes and 37 seconds left on the clock. Chad Winstead right now, one of the many on track for an open qualifying session. Winstead going to be on his way. Currently, Tyler Hampton getting the fastest time. Hampton has an incredible streak going coming into tonight. He's won the past 3 consecutive season finale races. He's now looking to go for what would, of course, be an all-time series record and extend it for his 4th. Currently, Tyler sits at the top of the pylon over Alan Kundman. Last time we went to this track, Alan won, and he did so in dominant fashion, leading over 115 laps en route to victory. Kundman finds himself now just about 0.3 of a mile an hour away from the pole position and might be poised to do it again if he gets just one good lap under him. This one won't count though. He'll spin to the inside of the track and back out. 360 spin gives Scott Zellner now a shot with some clean air. Currently, Zellner and Lodato are lined up alongside each other on that qualifying pylon. The difference between them is less than 1,000th of a second and only 2 1,000ths of a mile an hour. Zellner has the advantage from 8th to 9th, but it is minuscule with 60 seconds remaining. Track conditions are going to be rather foggy today. High humidity and the sun is setting. Hopefully everything clears up as the night goes on. But right now, these drivers only focusing on each other. Zellner with the money lap. Scott Zellner jumps up to 2nd with the 2nd quickest time, 28.183. If Lodato has a rebuttal, he better put it in now or put it in on the next lap because he's now 9th and far behind. Lucas has not had the momentum for the second half of this season. Watch what happens for the swamp number 7 as he goes in for what could be his final lap of the session. Lucas going for it now. 9th place, his time still stands, and it looks like he might not have enough time to get around the circuit once more. Going through the Boeing back straightaway, he's about 1/10 of a second quicker than his average lap. Tyler Hampton looks to have the pole position locked up as Lodato rounds the final corner. He comes across the line, completes his final lap. Lodato drops a 28.249. It's an improvement, but only good for 8th. Zellner stays ahead. It's going to be Scott Zellner, currently P2. But Tyler Hampton's quickest time, it stands as well. On the verge of what could be 4 consecutive season finale wins, Tyler Hampton, the Indiana native of Hoosier Buckeye Racing, is alone at the top with the pole position from the track too tough to tame. His quick time of a 28.154 is the best of all, and he's looking for his first win of the season in his final opportunity. 140 laps on the docket for drivers tonight. Almost a full-length Xfinity-style race. The Darlington Raceway. We've been to it multiple times this year with the Integrity Racing League. Went for a half-length Cup event and a full-length Xfinity race. We're coming in just under that Xfinity catalog of 149 laps today with our scheduled 140. Drivers are getting to the starting grid for the most important race of the season for two of our drivers. One of which, of course, is going to be on the front row. The other of which, Lucas Lodato, is a few rows back. Get to know your starting grid now from beginning to end as Tyler Hampton, the all-time king of the season finale, is again at the top of the board. Zellner finds himself on the pole, the outside pole. Meanwhile, the inside and the ultimate position goes to Tyler Hampton. Zellner is 14 points back in the championship race tonight. He has to outright beat Lucas Lodato. Alan Kunman is the last race winner in the Highline Racing League at this circuit. He'll qualify third alongside former champion DJ Stagner with Matt Muir and Chad Winstead, row number 3. Adam Bozzi and Scott Wheeler make it up for position 7 and 8. 9th and 10th. Lucas Lodato and Terry Brooks. Going on from your top 10, you'll see the 11th place man, the 81 of Connor Holden for the Swamp Motorsport Brigade. Holden is still trying to hang on here for a good position in the championship standings, but he's dropped rapidly of late, down to 13th. Dawson Buchanan is 12th. Sebastian Miller has a shot to go for as high as 3rd in the championship points. He begins today 4th in the standings, and he will be 13th on the grid. Jimmy McKeever 14th, Ryan Potter 15th, Jim Fott 16th, and Matthew Rodriguez 17th, with your newest race winner Joshua Sim in 18th place, Sean Billman 19th, and P20 Jacob Halm, the final man on the lineup. 21st place is Colton Gardner, and Ty Smith will be your 22nd and last man to make an appearance. 22 drivers registered, 21 took a qualifying time, all of which are in formation. Stadium lights are already on here at Darlington, but to kick it off, under the lights will be the number 5 of Tyler Hampton, going for what could be a legacy-defining race in an otherwise downward season. Not to say Hampton hasn't had pace. His consistency has been remarkable in these last few races, but for the Hampton crew, room for improvement. He is 6th in the championship standings. His ceiling this season is 4th. If he wins tonight, he just might make it there. Track conditions from the Darlington Raceway go as follows, with an ambient temperature of 71 degrees Fahrenheit and a track temp of 73 degrees. Relative humidity is about as high as they come. As we mentioned, foggy conditions always mean high humidity, with a relative percentage of 98%. Winds are northbound and very minimal, with partly cloudy skies. Overall, should play much into the favor of the driver here at Darlington. Oftentimes, the biggest challenge is under the South Carolina heat. Tires are slick, and it's hard to get grip in what is effectively a one-groove racetrack. These Gen 6 stock cars play well bouncing off of one another, but either way, it's never easy from Darlington. And that being said, Hampton or Zellner, whoever gets the jump off the line, might just be on the fast track to victory. Alan Kunman got the bolt start last time we went here, and he controlled the rest of the race with ease. Watch out now to see this pivotal moment in the strategy. Hampton's on the inside, Zellner's on the top, and it is Lucas Lodato, your championship leader, starting in 9th. Swamp Motorsports lined up consecutively, 4 cars deep on the inner groove. It'll be the 4 horsemen and their leading driver on the outside of row number 1. Tyler Hampton looks to go for a 4-peat on the season finale as the green flag flies from the Darlington Raceway. We're underway from the Lady in Black. Time to decide a championship. It's either Zellner or Lodato as Kunman slides. Allen's on his way, and we're good for lap 1. Tyler Hampton in a number 5 car is going to bolt out as expected, the first driver on the lineup. Pole position means a lot more Darlington, especially because of how you go into turn 1. Left-handed circuit, as in it's all left turns, and it is a narrow circuit at that. The narrowest, as a matter of fact, when it comes to those ovals here, and as you can see, back straightaway going to be as tight as they come. Drivers sticking it all the way up high. Number 5 car staying in the lead. You got Scott Zellner second, DJ Stagner third, Chad Winstead fourth. You take a look behind Zellner. So far, Lodato is nowhere in sight, although Lucas has made up a spot. At the line, Zellner stays second. Mostly single file for the time being. You'll see Lucas Lodato right here in 7th. Jacob Hamm is now on pit road with critical early damage, and it looks like already a problem brewing for the 44 car. Take a look at this. Lucas Lodato, the 44. Nobody else going to be off the lead lap here, so it looks like a solitary issue for Hamm. Going into 3, no issues. But it's Matthew Rodriguez who brushes the wall. Hamm does as well, and he drops inward, slams the inside retaining wall, and luckily doesn't catch up and collect anyone else. For the Hamm crew, I believe that's going to be his night. Otherwise, the rest of the field gets away with little issue. Tyler Hampton remains out in the head by a half second. Hampton to the points. Now, the closest battles are going to be in this mid-pack section, and this is where Lucas Lodato is really going to be cut no slack. At the moment, you'll see they're not side-by-side particularly, but even ahead of Lucas Lodato, there are some dense periods of traffic. Lucas right now is going to have to deal with Dawson Buchanan. Buchanan, another driver who's very strong at these season-ending races. This is his second at the premier level. You might remember he finished last season with the podium. He came on strong, as did Corey Blevins. And in the clutch, these are some drivers you absolutely have to look out for. Buchanan has worked a lot with the guys in the Blacktop Racing crew, also garnering a lot of seat time on Wednesday nights with Stadium Scene TV. Currently, he runs 8th, and he hasn't gotten up to Lodato. Here comes Matt Muir on Scott Wheeler. Wheeler, the 2-time former champion of seasons 13 and 14, did it with 2 completely different rules packages. Ever since that point, however, it's been hard to get to victory lane, something he hasn't done now in nearly 2 complete years. Scott is 11th in the championship standings today. He's going up against Dylan Poteet for the final spot in the top 10. It looks like right now he has a slight advantage over the 31 car in that he is on the racetrack inside the top 10, and as for Poteet, he's missing this race, so he's going to have to fall out of the top 10. Wheeler will make his way back in, and Dylan, unfortunately for the Trap House Racing crew, in what could be their final race as a team, going to have to bow out prematurely. Tyler Hampton still ahead by about 46 100ths of a second here. Then from there, you're going to see Scott Zellner in the number 2. He remains where he needs to be. That's going to be ahead of Lodato and just behind, all things considered, your race leader in Hampton. Half a second can be made up big time. Of course, that comes down to 130 laps ahead of the field. Zellner not going to concern himself with the early on circumstance. Track conditions aren't expected to change all too much as the night goes on, and that's the big part. Although we usually see those day to night races where drivers go from the sunny skies to the stadium lighting, it looks like we're beginning this race in the darkness and we will end it there, unless for some odd reason we go upwards of 12 hours, which is not only unlikely, but effectively impossible. So with that said, Hampton being confident right now in his equipment is going to be indicative of the rest of the day, and it currently finds himself up in front and still making time on Zellner. Scott Wheeler, the 97 here, still stays 5th. Lodato up to P6. Now, Lucas Lodato does not have to beat Scott Zellner on the racetrack tonight. He is not obligated to doing that because he has the points buffer coming in. It's only 14 points, but he can stay within 5 places as he is right now, and it would be a guaranteed Lodato championship. So long as Scott Zellner does not collect any additional bonus points, he was not able to get one for the pole position. He didn't win the pole, and he has not yet led a lap. So while Lucas right now might not be out running the Zellner machine, he finds himself in a comfortable enough spot where if he only gets up to Scott Wheeler, which he might just do, he might just be able to hang on. Wheeler not great through 1 and 2 there. He actually brushed the wall twice, did it again down the back straightaway, and now it's going to be real pressure to maintain this position. Watch out as Lodato goes low. Lucas here, as close as he's been to the top 5, and you can see Wheeler's exits have been stunted. It looks like a little bit of a snap-loose aspect in the 97 Ford Mustang. And there you have it, side by side, nearly full-on contact. Lodato had to drop low. Wheeler got it up to the circuit's top side. Big contact there, and Lodato is sent down to the apron. Lucas Lodato going to be fended off. And I'm not quite sure there whether or not that was intentional. Here's a fast replay, which will show you the last lap. Take a look to the high side, and you'll see there Wheeler certainly felt he was being shoved up. And it looks like he got in the wall again, and it was not intentional. He brushed the wall and shot Lodato down. Too little room for 2 drivers. Again, Darlington is a very, very narrow circuit, and that's the consequence. Wheeler is able to get away, but he's still the slowest driver in this affair. Here comes Dawson Buchanan on the inside of Matt Muir. Buchanan is low. You got Buchanan and the number 70, of course, battling each other. Matt Muir in that 70 goes high. Terry Brooks coming through as well. And it's going to be a double play between these two. The 23 of Brooks to the inside sees Muir in the wall. So just like that, Matt Muir passed also by Terry Brooks. Brooks getting up to P8. So far, he's been able to gain 2 spots on the day. 10th up to 9th. Now officially the 8th at the line. Terry Brooks making his move. He's going to get up to the single digits firmly. And Brooks so far having a few top 10 runs on the campaign. Terry 16th in championship standings with 3 top 10s, 2 top 5s. His best career finish in the modern era. 2nd place in Bakersfield, California to eventual champion Chad Winstead. That was 2 seasons ago. That was the only race that Winstead won, and that proved pivotal in the championship battle. Brooks just a position away at Kern Raceway. Now, this track drives very dissimilar to a short track, but it is narrow like a short track. That one groove that you use at speed is not flexible. The position you have is the position you have. And we talk about that not only in terms of track position, but also in that the lane, you've got to be comfortable with it. There's not a lot of room for experimentation. You can try to go a little bit higher or a little bit lower, but you're really stuck where you are. Winstead to the inside takes one away from Scott Zellner, and it looks like Scott losing ground on your leader and falling back to Lodato. Tyler Hampton maintains a 1-second lead, and this is one of the most confusing streaks in Highline Racing League history, because now Winstead, of course, is further back. He was a champion 2 seasons prior, didn't win the season finale race, and when it was Scott Zellner's championship, season 16, he didn't win the finale race. Looks like right now it is all Hampton, and Hampton did it with multiple race packages. Cautions out, first time today. Looks like Dawson Buchanan goes around. Take a look at this, the 4 cars in trouble. Dawson to the inside of Lucas Lodato. They were battling. So it was right around the 6th position. Oh, same thing as Scott Wheeler. When Wheeler did it to Lodato, same effect. Bouncing off the wall. Luckily, Lucas, Lodato, and Buchanan avoid big damage. But unfortunately for Dawson, he ends up spinning around 18th place, 23 laps in. Dawson is going to be at the back of the field as we have our first yellow flag of the day, 23 laps in. Pit road, Tyler Hampton takes the 5 car, as does Winstead, the number 60. DJ Stagner opts to stay out, and so does Ryan Potter here. Looks like some of Swamp Motorsport decided to go for the unconventional route of saving their rubber for a little while longer. Again, it's a long race in 140 laps. Don't want to burn through your equipment all too much. I think that's the mindset right now of both the 64 and the 99, whereas a majority of the field, in all honesty, you can see here a very clear majority have decided it is the right decision to come in. So, race on pit road has already begun between your championship contenders. Watch as Lucas Lodato is further back, Zellner is further up front. Let's see now who wins the race out of pit road, as they're all going to be coming through as we speak. Winstead beaten out by Hampton. It's going to be Tyler Hampton, Chad Winstead, Scott Zellner, 97 to Scott Wheeler. Then, a little bit further behind, you'll see Lucas Lodato. Lodato making it out in 7th. He's only 2 spots back now on Scott Zellner. That's the closest they've been on track all night long. Still a deficit. 25 laps in out of 140. We're coming to lap number 26. DJ Stagner on the higher groove. Ryan Potter down low. We're getting ourselves set up for a Swamp Motorsports restart. All out. Both these drivers are on slightly older rubber, but only after a 25-lap stint. Interesting to see that it's both of the teammates staying out who were in completely different places. Potter's been on the up and up, going from 15th now to 2nd, whereas DJ Stagner, 4th up to 1st. So small gains for him. Of course, he's been up front. Ryan Potter taking a country mile when he was given a few spots. Stagner on the top side has made this alternate strategy work before this season. He has been very careful with his equipment, and that's what got him that clutch victory in Pocono, and he currently finds himself again top 3 in the championship standings. His biggest competition for that accolade is his own teammate, Sebastian Miller. He'll get the jump on the rest of the field while Potter struggles. Stagner thrives on the inside. They try to go 3, can't get it on Potter. The teammates make contact, and Hampton is bottlenecked. But DJ Stagner gets it off the line and pulls a car length on Ryan Potter. Chad Winstead looks to the inside, 3 on Lodato and Scott Wheeler. Wheeler backs off, Lodato goes higher up. And in essence, they meet each other in the middle. Ryan Potter in the wall once again. 99 car serving as a bottleneck right now. It looks like significantly slower than everyone else. Ryan on the high side, Adam Bozzi right there with contact. Potter up the wall. It's going to be 3 wide as drivers go right down to the apron and scoop below the Jim's Breakfast Toyota Camry. Everyone gets away. No, DJ Stagner sliding. Both drivers on old tire meet their quick demise. Yellow's out for the 2nd time, and that tire saving experiment fails rapidly. See here, Stagner was in the same position as Potter, got in the wall the exact same way, rubbed up against it, and came off the wall with a harsh hit and shot to the inside. As the field got away, DJ Stagner spins, and you can see here, he now finds himself on the inside of the circuit and alone. A risky call, nosing down and in, and the yellow flag is out for the second time, 29 laps in out of 140. This will give Tyler Hampton the lead once again, and he gets that position back that he has been so comfortable with. But you can see now, Lucas Lodato is ahead of Scott Zellner. Keep this in mind. It is Lucas Lodato, number 7. He's a championship leader. If he outfinishes Scott Zellner at all by even one position, he automatically wins the championship, and that is that. Zellner has to get in front of the 7 of Lodato. And of course, that's the big challenge now. Lucas has been surging up. Zellner, on the longer run we had so far, was actually falling back. It becomes the issue of whether or not he's got the stuff to contend, as Lodato's confidence is restored, and he's got the track position to prove it. Tyler Hampton maintaining his position has gotten him out of the way of the championship fight. You have to wonder, do either Lodato or Zellner even have the pace to keep up now with Tyler here? Of course, it's anyone's race to win. We have not seen the championship winner, of course, win the season finale race in 3 consecutive seasons. That's, of course, because Tyler Hampton has done it again and again and again. So you don't have to win this finale race to win the title, but it is, of course, always available. If Lodato was to win it, well, he would automatically have the championship, no matter what. Scott Zellner, if he wins it and Lodato is a certain amount of positions behind, it would have to come down to about an 8 or 9 position gap at that point, then he would win it. But with the victory not being a guarantee for the championship, it leaves a lot of other circumstances up in the air, and it also means that Hampton has that full ability and the full discretion to contend at his own will. He's done it so many times before, and he's become so remarkably successful at winning on this final night. His season finale win streak dates back to November of 2023. Just for context here. And at that point, many of our current drivers were not in this series. That was actually Hampton's very first career start, and he won it outright. Hannon fought Joshua Sim. See Sean Billman also not in the field at that time. Dawson Buchanan not in the field at that time either. Seb Miller was not a full-time contender. Hampton's streak dates back now nearly 2 calendar years, but he, of course, has to go up against the championship contenders who find themselves 2nd and 3rd, respectively, and they're looking to go all out. Side by side, Hampton gets the jump. It's all his into 1 and 2, but it's all up to Lodato or Zellner to see who has the advantage in the opening run. Winstead in the 60 car. He's got himself single filed in line for 4th. Double file a little further back, you'll see the 81 of Connor Holden looking low now. That's going to be on Jimmy McKee, but it doesn't work out for long. Again, Darlington is so capable as a track of bringing the single file racing out. It's very challenging to go against the grain with little room to spare. Got to really set up those runs about perfectly. Single file down the line. The 81 of McKee sees course, Connor Holden, both battle each other. Sebastian Miller coming up on Alan Kunman. Kunman hasn't necessarily struggled so far, but he's fallen back to the mid-pack through strategy calls, and it looks like now that's where he lies. As low as 17th, as high as where he started in 3rd. Currently, the 11th place is where Alan Kunman lies. The end goal tonight, I'm sure, would be to go a little bit higher. Kunman with multiple race wins despite being a part-time driver and not giving it a full championship effort. The former champion has done pretty good with what he's made of it so far. One of the very few drivers to have at least one win. And with that, 2 top 10s, 2 top 5s, a victory, and only 5 starts, this being his 6th and, of course, final on the season. Alan Kunman right now looking comfortable in line as Jimmy McKee is still getting worked overtime by the number 81 of Holden. At the line again, lap number 36. Tyler Hampton's got the edge. Lucas Lodato and Scott Zellner currently run second and third, and it looks like the gaps have remained rather constant. Chad Winstead right near, as you can see, he's gotten a little bit closer to Zellner, but it looks like the pressure is not fully on him just yet. Winstead was able to make that pass on the previous 25-plus lap run, and that was indicative of the pace that Zellner has in the long picture, the big picture, shall we say. This is the big test. Now, both Lodato and Scott Zellner are behind your race leader. They don't necessarily have clean air, but they are away from the rest of the pack. Whoever really wins this battle, I think, is going to have the big advantage for the rest of the night. Even if this stint only goes 30-40 laps, winning here really shows who's got the long run pace, and Lodato got a great jump off the short term. And track position is king. If you have the long run pace, you'll make up positions naturally. And that's the cycle right here. So a 30-lap run might be the teller as to who wins the championship. Right now, the advantage is in Lucas Lodato's hands as Scott Zellner's all over him, and Adam Bazzi now puts the pressure on Winstead to make a pass. Chad drives low. Zellner stays high. Can't quite get there. Zellner stays just ahead. Chad Winstead lies back. Notably here, Adam Bazzi trying to make one good run at the end of this season. He is currently 15th place in the championship standings, 159 back on your leader. His ceiling today would be to go up to 13th place in the championship points as he finds himself right now only 16 back on Connor Holden. Holden in the number 81 runs a few spots now behind him in 9th place. Both are having solid runs. Bazzi looks to the inside once again, but looks like that again was a flawed exit out of corner number 2. Through the bowling back straightaway, the entire field comes, and it is all single file as we now only have 100 laps remaining on the season, and it's going to be Tyler Hampton who brings it in for the final Centurion mark. Lucas Lodato holding that Scott Zellner car a 10th and a half. Bazzi still watching with intent. Looks like right now a few drivers on pit road. Ty Smith has been there for 24 laps, 22 laps for Jacob Halm. Matthew Rodriguez to the inside. He's going in 8 laps down, and he's going to come in for additional damage repair. No retiree yet on the day. Every driver who started has continued on. Tyler Hampton has been so consistent in making these gaps. And I guess it's not a Darlington thing, it's just a season finale thing. Every time he comes around for this last race, he pulls a second, and he just keeps it there. I don't know if he's got it dialed up differently by virtue of additional practice, or if it's something else of that nature. But right now, Hampton is a cut above everyone else. And last time we went to Darlington again, he did not show this sort of dominating fashion that he has today. I don't think it's a matter of track. It's more so a matter of just his presence in these moments. And time again, he has proved that this is the moment where he can rise to the occasion. Nevertheless, Lucas Lodato is still just ahead of Scott Zellner now. And you'll see here, Chad Winstead Adam Bozzi, Scott Wheeler, Matt Muir is now the final driver in the top 10 in a hotly contested battle against the number 8 car of Kunman. Kunman is right on the backside, still hasn't made a pass yet. That's kept him outside of the top 10 here. Kunman having some of those difficulties that everyone else has faced in making moves. And then that's going to be coming as a given, of course, thanks to Darlington being the track it is, but it looks like maybe a little bit more of a pace deficit than we expected out of the 8 car. Of course, that Flow Racing Chevrolet Camaro has done a wonderful job this season in his limited appearances, but now it looks like there's a little bit of a deficit. More than we expected. We'll see what happens as still pressure put on by Buchanan, and he hasn't gotten there. Scott Wheeler, middle of this pack, watching Adam Bozzi intently corner after corner. It's a chain of command, and honestly, the pressure is coming more from the backside than it is the front. Every time Adam Bozzi looks like he has a good run, Chad Winstead is more inclined to look to the inside and try to make a pass on the driver in front of him, which is Scott Zellner. And that puts more pressure on Zellner to get right around and cause more trouble for Lucas Lodato. In all honesty, it's a little bit more of the reverse from normal. What's going on behind is directly influencing the up-front battle, and that looks to be the difference maker. Lucas has still been on direct defense, and he's kept it in front for the past 23 laps on this stint. Scott Zellner looks to the inside, but only just. Can't get anywhere with it. And all these slight glances, the question becomes, what can happen now? For the first time, Zellner gets to the inside directly. Contact from Chad Winstead. Zellner drifts, slides through turn 3 and 4, comes up ahead of Adam Bozzi, maintains position, but look at that gap. Lucas Lodato is given a free second advantage. Of course, free 1 second. That's what he's got now. All the while, Zellner's trying to keep everyone at bay. It won't work. Adam Bozzi turned. Terry Brooks, Alan Kunman gets collected as well. Caution's out. And the chain unfolds rapidly. Of course, you saw Zellner getting pressured big. He saves it and gets lucky. Terry Brooks into Adam Bozzi. You saw it there on the backside. Then that shoots the 27 up the racetrack. And that's the caution. 3 cars involved: Terry Brooks, Adam Bozzi, and Alan Kunman. As we get, of course, increasingly closer to our halfway points. Bozzi going to be involved in the 3rd caution of the day, and it is our first big multi-car incident at the front of the field for the 27 car. Queen City Racing seeing their flagship man in a little bit more of a troublesome position than we had expected. Now we'll see if he can get that damage repaired, but the backside has the most issues. Started 7th on the day, and now lies low. Pit road is not going to be all too busy. Lucas Lodato decides to stay out. That will provide him with the race lead. Tyler Hampton, unlike last time around, he will make the alternate call and drop in. Hampton's moved to the inside, swift as they come, and now he's ready to load again. Lucas Lodato in the number 7. That Swamp number 7 machine, of course, has been exciting to watch to this point, but it looks like Hampton, at least temporarily, will relinquish the race lead. This gives Lodato an opportunity that he hasn't really been presented with for the past few races. Lucas has not been shafted per se, but Scott Zellner has really had all the momentum coming in, and it looks like tonight, so far anyway, has been a little bit of a switch up from what we've seen beforehand. The big problem maybe for Zellner is that the long run pace doesn't look to be there, and he's been jostled around previously. All the while, Lodato has looked calm and collected on his way up the ladder. Didn't qualify as well as Scott. That's for certain. He was a few rows behind, but by making use of strategy well. It's all Lodato now as we head back at it. A few drivers decided to go down and in. It's going to be Terry Brooks, who's now on new rubber, so 12th on back. You got 12th in Brooks, 13th in Tyler Hampton. Chad Winstead is 14th. 15th is Colton Gardner. 16th, DJ Stagner. 17th, Adam Bozzi, just getting back on the way. And you got Sean Billman in 18th. Billman now looks to be the last of which, as Ryan Potter is also on pit road. One lap to green this time by. We're restarting at lap number 53 with Dotto holding the race lead. He's got the championship on lock. Scott Zellner's only choice now is to take that race lead from him and do wonders. It's going to be a much more challenging job, though, with the 7 at the head of the field. But currently for Zellner, his biggest challenge is right ahead of him, and that is everything. He's got to face off toe-to-toe with his championship rival under the lights. More pressure than there's ever been now on the two team to deliver this season, and he's going right up against the only driver that's met his match, and then some. Lucas Lodato gets the jump off the outside, and it's going to be as clear as day. He'll have the lead into 1. Restart number 3, side by side, further behind. Seb Miller goes at it with Alan Kunman briefly. Alan gets up now into 7th place, so he's gained 4 spots on this run. A fast move to the inside for the number 8 team, and he gets up to the high groove and defends. Lucas Lodato, the number 7 car, has the edge over the entire field, though. Watch out from here. Scott Wheeler, 4th, just got by Dawson Buchanan. Lucas right now holds the field in his control. Tyler Hampton is going to be in 12th place. The battle for the race lead is the battle for the championship. Keep in mind, Lodato has 14 additional points that Scott Zellner does not. These two drivers did not come in tied, and so while Zellner has every incentive to get the race lead, even if he gets it and Lodato runs in 2nd, it does not mean that he's automatically got himself the championship. As a matter of fact, might not be the case at all, as here comes Jimmy McKee. McKee to the inside on Zellner, puts the pressure down again. Now the 48 has a real shot to shake things up. Side by side, further behind, and while Blacktop Racing won last time we were here with Alan Kunman, all of a sudden it looks like the McKee car is coming to its own. The standout man from season 15, who was able to oh so well deliver the heat to defending champ at that time, Scott Wheeler, is back up front again. Zellner to the inside is going to ride up through the corner. He's going to make that slide job work. Lodato has no choice but to concede, and it's going to be Zellner in the wall. Contact between your championship contenders. Lodato to the inside again. And that sends Lodato all out of sort. Now, both drivers have led a lap. That equalizes them on bonus points, and it's the advantage Scott Zellner. If Lucas stays in 2nd, though, it would still be his championship. Lodato all the way up to the highest point of the wall there. He was climbing that thing, and you would have wondered whether or not he was going to make contact. Luckily, he didn't. Number 60 of Chad Winstead dropping to the bottom. And now he'll take P2. If Lodato's damaged, it's going to show. Look at Tyler Hampton. The number 5 car is right back in the mix. Contact! McKee, Hampton, minor taps from all, but Jimmy McKee gets the worst of it. Cautions out. 4th of the day. And again, intense racing as Lodato and McKee made contact at the top of the wall. Hampton didn't make all too much, but he just tapped the quarter panel off Jimmy McKee. That sends the 48 down and in. The reset of pace for everyone. And the yellow's out. Jimmy McKee should be able to continue on. That's the 48. And as high as he was, it looks like he's going to get dropped right back down to earth. Currently runs in 16th as it stands. Scott Zellner in the number 2 to pit road. DJ Stagner, the 64, right there with. And as everyone comes together, it's going to be another big pit stop cycle. Second of the day with more than half the field. Hampton, of course, stays out, and Lodato decides to as well, interestingly enough. Chad Winstead, your race leader. Zellner is highly anticipated to be the winner of this pit stop run. He comes in first. Let's see if he does. Four tires and fuel the recipes. The number 2 car gets on the way. Zellner clearing ahead of Wheeler, Buchanan, Kunman, and Terry Brooks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They roll off. The top 10 sees Buchanan as its final driver. Winstead leading, and he'll bring them back to speed at lap 62. Chad Winstead taking his time at the head of the field for the first today. Of course, he's been very close to the battle up ahead, but hasn't yet been able to put down the pressure as your leading man. This is only his second lap led. One lap to green this time by. Tyler Hampton is in the second row, and now he doesn't have the newest rubber of everyone, but he made it very clear that when he does, he is the fastest driver. Right now, Tyler is on a 10-lap run, so not a lot of time has been put in on warm rubber. It means he should be in a pretty good position, all things considered. When we get back up to pace, he isn't going to be decimated by anyone on pace right now anyway, but I wouldn't expect him to be the fastest, at least for now. Bringing it back up to speed. Hampton on the inside. It'll be now 2 of the Swamp teammates lined up top. Lodato having the support of Connor Holden on the way. Green flag's out. Holden's going to wiggle. Matt Muir does so a little bit more. The inside is bottlenecked significantly. That's going to give Chad Winstead and Hampton the out they need. And a massive jump for the 60 and the 5 teams, respectively. Hampton, I think, gets a little bit of a better jump, of course, to get right up to the backside of his race-leading rival. Terry Brooks a little bit further behind. He finds himself now in about 14th place. You'll see here the tail end of the field is contentious with Joshua Sim. Sim is as close as they come right now to contact with Terry Brooks. He'll make it, but luckily both drivers put it together. Now, even the back of the field is a little bit more contentious than most other nights. These points and these positions matter. Joshua Sim, of course, making a remarkably better impression for himself last week than he has all season long, winning his first race of the season. That got Sim up to 12th in the championship points as it's side-by-side Brooks and McKee. For Joshua Sim, finally puts that momentum where he needs it. And that's something a driver can take into the next season, even if they have struggled this time around, and keep their heads high for. They understand already, of course, if you're a winning driver anyway, you understand already that you can win. Now it just becomes more about putting the pieces together. 65 laps in out of 100. Terry Brooks right up high. And he surges out in front of this second grouping. All the while, Hampton has the lead over Chad Winstead. Tyler Hampton comes across the line. Still his race. Zellner now is in third. Lucas Lodato is in sixth. Lucas is just close enough where, even though Zellner has the position advantage, he's got it made. It looks like Zellner's still going to have to dig a little bit further. Scott's looking for the race lead. And I think for the Flying Scotsman, of course, he and Wheeler, they might both have an outside shot. If you look right now at the 97 team, well, you look at him right now a little bit further behind in 8th place. He found himself as high as, well, the numbers will show you, as high as 3rd. So he's been up there on the podium beforehand. And I wonder, can you get those two interlinked? We've seen this season before Caleb Morrissey, often a more aggressive driver for that team, and Scott Zellner, who's had that veteran presence, still fighting for a championship. They've been up front simultaneously, but not often do we see both Scotts getting up there at the very same time. Right now, looks like still more of that separation as Wheeler finds himself behind McKee. And right now, Jimmy's got the edge. That's for P7. The 97 goes low, and he's going to try and make this pass. Still no dice. Terry Brooks is watching and waiting in the wings in the 9th position here, and the final spots in the single digits are all up for grabs. DJ Stagner, Alan Kunman, swapping spots. Alan now back up to 5th. Lucas Lodato dropping to P10. And it looks like right now dropping rapidly. Take a look at Jim Fonten, the number 21, getting around. Lodato on a 45-lap-old set. He's going to need a caution as his big break. Now, this is the consequence of staying out on old rubber. The end goal for Lodato is that this will be a stint that comes to pass, and he'll get up in front. But you're going to see Lucas fall very far down the line as this race goes on, at least until we get another yellow flag or another stint reset. As you can see, Colton Gardner makes it by. And now, Matt Muir, Connor Holden, Joshua Sim all together in a gaggle of cars. Adam Bosnian, the number 27, 16th here. And it looks like he, too, is still further back. But they all are catching up now to Lodato, who's got the oldest rubber of all. 71 laps to go, becomes only 70 laps remaining, and we have now passed our halfway marker. Tyler Hampton finds himself as your race leader. From there, you'll have 2nd place in Scott Zellner, 3rd, Chad Winstead, 4th, Dawson Buchanan, 5th, Alan Kunman. Then you'll have P6 in DJ Stagner. P7 is Jimmy McKee. Then from there, you got Scott Wheeler in 8th. Harry Brooks 9th, with Jim Fott rounding out the top 10. Fought for 10th place right now. He's going to have himself about a 2nd and 3/10 up on Colton Gardner. Tyler Hampton still holds fort. With 68 laps remaining, he is beyond the halfway marker and still dominant, looking for his 4th consecutive season finale victory. If you've been watching with us since Tyler Hampton began that streak, well, you probably know a lot, or at least a little bit, about iRacing.com. For 17 years now, and more than 17 as a matter of fact, iRacing Motorsport Simulations has led drivers from the amateur level all the way up to the professionals in training and honing in their sim racing skills. iRacing is the best place to go, not only for stock car racing action, but also for open wheel racing, such as Indycar and Formula One. Not to mention the World of Outlaws, or IMSA, or the World Endurance Championship. From the contemporary racing of today all the way back to the historical classics, iRacing has you covered. We'll cut to a little bit from iRacing in a brief moment as Scott Zellner goes to the inside for the race lead. Zellner for P1 has the clear championship advantage now. He's got the lead and new tire. Strategy as it stands is in his place. It is Zellner with the race lead, 66 laps remaining. The Darlington Raceway. We'll be right back after a brief message from our friends at iRacing.com. Stay tuned after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Scott Zellner, with 63 laps remaining, has himself at the head of the field now, and he's got the youngest rubber of anyone inside of that podium. Hampton, second place. Winstead for third. Dawson Buchanan is in fourth. Now, Hampton and Winstead are both on 27-lap runs. Otherwise, Hampton, of course, still has himself pretty good in second. But Scott Zellner, on an 18-lap stint, has the edge. And now he's got a lead of about 0.7 of a second. All the while, Lucas Lodato has fallen back into 12th. Alan Cummin gonna drift and drive up and down the circuit. He'll save it again. Alan is still fifth here, but it looks like gonna drop just a little bit further behind. Very likely third place. If you get up to Buchanan and Hampton here, and it looks like now Dawson is being pressured to give up a spot. Cannon's got himself now third with a caution out, 61 laps to go. The battle comes to a cease as Joshua Sim runs slow on the inside of the track. Got in the wall, bobbled down to the inside, and for your fifth caution of the day, big slam. Joshua Sim. Yellow flag out. Caution flies with 60 laps remaining. Scott Zellner's got the race lead, and it looks like it's pretty evident now he's going to come down to pit road, as will a majority of these drivers who now have seen another 30-plus lap stint come to pass. Some drivers on a stint as long as 57 laps, that's how long Lucas Lodato has been at it. He desperately needs this, and so he'll take it. iRacing official pace car comes out of turn 4. Call on the field. Nobody to pit road just yet. Pit road opens next time by for this pack. Looks like right now everyone's just getting themselves ready. Jay Stagner comes in. Gardner, Lodato, Matt Muir, Connor Holden, and Sebastian Miller. Back of the field in early. Of course, you'll see Lucas Lodato making a trip very necessary. After a 58-lap run, which is likely to be his longest of the day, he's going to get himself some new Goodyear tires and fight again. Tonight, drivers only have themselves 4 sets, so that's why some of those guys at the head of the field decided to stay out. Scott Zellner with the edge over Lodato, but it might become a temporary advantage. Lodato gets on the way behind teammate DJ Stagner and Colton Gardner, and will very easily now be able to contend to get up to the front of the pack. This race is going to come down to what I believe will be a back and forth of cautions. Whoever gets the right cautions at the right time will have a much easier chance of winning. Strategically speaking, going to be back and forth from here. Caution flies this time by. Of course, it is your 5th of the day. Scott Zellner, 1 lap to green. He'll go at it directly with Tyler Hampton. Interesting to see that Hampton decided not to go down to pit road yet. Maybe he's going to wait one more stint before he makes the call. Wouldn't be surprised to see Hampton holding out for our next caution, or our next caution that comes about 15-20 laps from now, as opposed to immediately coming down and in. Saving his stuff would be the way to go. Austin Buchanan for third place. As we mentioned, maybe a sleeper candidate for a strong performance. He just barely got P3 by the time the caution cycle came through. And now he's running about a car length from your race leader. We'll head back at it with 57 laps to go on the season. It's going to be Zellner and Lodato. Watch Lucas here in 12th place. He'll get a jump, but it won't be the best of them. Leader Scott Zellner gets up and away. It's going to be Hampton and Dawson Buchanan fighting for second. With your leading drivers in the top 10 now having older rubber than those who are further behind, it's a big discrepancy with little time left on the table. Gotta see now whether or not it's going to be worth it for the drivers further back like Lodato to push like this is it, or if they're going to try to wait a little bit longer to really stretch out the time these drivers wear their stuff. For Lucas Lodato, of course, I think he's got to go. He is in 12th right now. No way he can manage championship from that spot. Lucas here, of course, just outside the top 10. That's about the worst spot he can be in right now. 14 points the difference. If Zellner wins and Lodato finishes in 11th or anywhere outside of the top 10, well, no chance for Lodato to win the title. He's got to make up some spots and fast if he really wants to make it stick. 6 laps in out of 140, Hampton is firmly second. Side by side, DJ Stagner. And now, it's going to be Jimmy McKee. Driving to the inside and looking for 2 spots. Stagner red hot, and he's making it through, and even his teammate is yet to catch up. Lodato is up to 8th. DJ Stagner, if Lodato can even go half as quick through these corners and do the same thing, he'll be right back up front. Lucas Lodato seeping to the inside. All the while, Stagner's already up to second. Swamp Motorsports is looking to control a race lead by all means necessary. Lodato right now in 7th, a little bit of contact, and it's going to be the number 81 of Connor Holden who ends up slipping, drifting to the inside, staying straight. Race lead battle continues. We're still green as Holden puts it together. Going to be slowed down and spun, but no one else is involved. Lodato looking for the top 5. If Lucas gets back up to 5th, he'll be good for the championship once again. DJ Stagner is already leading. That's the difference maker. Whether or not the Swamp can control a race lead, no matter what. 2 laps to go, and it's all DJ once again. Seb Miller up to 7th. Tyler Hampton falling back. He's going to need, I think at this rate, a caution to put his strategy back together. Lucas Lodato, however, is in 3rd and is coming up now on the Zellner car. The gap is a 2nd, but this is not detrimental for Lodato. If he stays 1 position behind, the championship would be his. Of course, there is no reason for Scott Zellner to consider the fact that what's going on behind him is anything of an issue. Currently, it looks like the Swamp number 7 has no problems. It looks like right now, both these drivers running at pretty solid paces. So it comes down more to whether or not Zellner gets what he needs strategy-wise, and that is a caution. The past 3 yellow flags have completely shifted the pendulum of this strategy today, and you bear Zellner loose and letting Lodato by. Just cannot compete in this situation. 49 laps to go. At times, you got to let it happen, and unfortunately for Zellner, he just did it there. Lucas out finishing Scott Zellner would be an automatic way for a championship victory. And it's so important now for the Swamp team to get it done, as DJ Stagner now leads by 2 seconds, and he'll try to go for victory in his own terms. Moments away now from getting the job done. More than 100 laps in. We're coming up on that point very soon. Watch as Terry Brooks battles with Alan Kunman here. Kunman back down to 9th. He's been up and down for the second half of this race. Got up to, once again, the 5th position. Wasn't able to go much further. Just touching up on the top side. Jim fought 13th place here, last driver in this main draft, and it looks like right now pace is going to be mostly identical throughout the 5th to 15th round. To look back, it's most drivers on the same 34-lap stint. Top 4 drivers are on a 12-lap run with fresher rubber. Otherwise, there's no other big anomalies to consider, and what you're seeing right here is the field. Terry Brooks to the inside on Alan Kunman. Matthew Rodriguez down on the bottom as well. 22 laps down for Matthew Rodriguez. He's back on the racing circuit, but any position he gains won't be for all too much importance. Unfortunately, it appears now that he's got very little else he can do other than try to get these laps back, which would be unlikely, or just try to get through on the retirees. Joshua Sim is out of this race, and it looks like he might be able to get it up to 18th. Number 01 team, Rodriguez right now, closing in on what could be a top 15 season in points. He is 17th right now. Maybe a few more positions could be the difference maker that pulls him up the ladder one final time. Brooks to the inside on Winstead. And it looks like right now, Terry quick on the bottom. Surging to the inside. Terry Brooks tries to go for it again. Winstead gets a real good run out of 4, though, I'll tell you that much. Take a look from the backside of the 60 car, and you'll see Terry Brooks might try to go at it again, squeezing Chad Winstead, and it's a textbook move right back. Zero 1 Machina Rodriguez stays further behind. DJ Stagner 2.5 seconds up, and it's the Hornet's Nest still to play. Scott Wheeler, a little bit loose off corner exit. Looks at Alan Kunman, can't get it done. Chad Winstead brushes against the wall one more time, and Alan Kunman even still can't get there. P10 for the Kunman car, outside of the single digits once more. Wheeler right now, it looks like, has a shot again. Not going to have a real good position right now to get to the top 5 or further just because of how far back these guys are, but anything from 7th is still a firm contest. Jay Stagner leading far and away. Matt Muir in the number 70 here, 4th place. Matt having a surprisingly solid day, and maybe more than solid as a matter of fact. He started 5th, and he's made it back again. Look at what's going on now, of course, for the Texas native, who is having his best race of the season. Matt even has an outside shot to take the podium position that Seb Miller has. Now it's 1, 2, 3 for the Swamp, though. And take a look at this. Miller's in 3rd, Lodato is in 2nd, DJ Stagner is in 1st, and the same way they began the season, that's the way they're looking to close it out. 40 laps to go, and the Swamp has the top 3. Take a ride on board with Matt Muir, and you'll see whether or not he can get up to the A3, though. Miller, another driver who has came out of harm's way, out of the hornet's nest to get to this point. Now, of all the top three drivers, he's gone the most positions, up and up. 13th to 3rd for your biggest mover. Sebastian Miller's really played it out very well tonight. Of course, he finds himself top 5 of the championship run, and you got to see what happens next from there if you can go for top 3. It's he and DJ Stagner fighting for those honors. Lodato in the number 7 car. I'll see it here. He's got the advantage, and of course, I'll say it as well. It looks like right now, as long as he hangs on for 37 more laps, he will be the champion at the end of day. He's ahead of Zellner. It all comes down to whether or not the green flag stays out. There's a caution. Advantage Zellner. It is absolutely gain on from there. And I think it's going to become number 2's race if any interruption to the green flag flow. Dawson Buchanan, still watching. Scott Zellner going to come around again. Take a look on board with driver telemetry for the next lap, and you'll see exactly what Zellner's doing right now to put things together in the final moments. Let's take a look and a listen with 36 to go. Zellner right now, up on the high side, calm, collected, managing throttle. That's the big takeaway right now. You see it, 4th gear absolute, not pulling the power down all the way, and gently leaning into these corners, using the brake as little as possible, and getting back on the way. It's that conservation of speed and momentum. As long as you can stay on the power for as much time as possible, you should be able to get a good lap through. Darlington requires a pretty acute angle coming in. It's a pretty sharp way into 1 and 2 or 3 and 4 respectively, but then it's all about letting the car flow and riding out the corner to bring it back up to pace. Now, Matt Muir has gotten up in the 3rd here over Seb Miller. Muir for the number 70 car, this would be his first podium of the season, and what a race it would be to do it. Muir has been in the championship hunt, getting close in fact. He's 9th in the championship picture, 99 points out. 1 top 5, and in terms of top 10s, he's been rather consistent with 6 on the season so far. It hasn't been a bad season in the slightest for the 70 crew, and now looking to finish it off with a bang and a best finish on the campaign. Matt Muir's got a real chance with 33 laps remaining, and he took that spot away quickly from Seb Miller. Up next would be Lucas Lodato, but Lucas is going to be real hard to reach for the time being. Dawson Buchanan to pit road. It looks like he'll concede after a 48-lap run. Now, this is interesting to see because, again, this is the first green flag pit cycle we've seen come to fruition on the night. And this is only going to be for a few drivers, including Tyler Hampton, or including Jimmy McKee, or Scott Zellner. If we stay under green for the rest of this race, Zellner has to go to pit road, and that will be effectively the end of his championship hunts. Now, that's the big question. Zellner decide to concede and go in a little bit earlier just to take the safe route in case we go long, or does he try to hold it out while we don't know whether or not we get that extra caution? Here comes the 4 again. Zellner's on his way. Dawson Buchanan, likewise, is on his way out. With 30 laps to go, the green flag remaining in the air. That's what the issue is for the number 2 team. All the while for Lodato, it's going to be his saving grace. Stay out on track, the championship is almost entirely going to be his. It all just comes down to his execution. He still very well could make a mistake. Lucas Lodato holds second place for the time being. Scott Zellner, as you can see, 51 laps in, is still going at it. Now, he would have to go for an 80-lap run That's what it's going to come down to if he wants to stay under green the whole distance. Now, it might not be impossible, but it would be very unlikely the way these drivers have been running that they are expecting to do that. Tire saving and fuel saving to that extent is not come into play for the entire night. We've usually had about 30 laps or so, then a cut to a caution, maybe a few even smaller ones in between, but getting the full long form runs in has been effectively impossible. Has not happened. Right now, looks like, once again, the number 2 team is at odds with a strategy call as it happens. Still holding on to a top 5 position, and Jimmy McKee is not in sight. He's got a good 3 seconds ahead of that number 38 car. But Zellner is alone and practically stranded, waiting for the sign that he can come down and in without error, or waiting for a caution. Looking at a dicey circumstance here, it's going to be close between Holden, Wheeler, and Buchanan. 1, 2, 3. Wheeler saves it. That could have been the difference maker of the race. Perhaps even still, for someone like Lodato, unknowingly it was. Scott Wheeler keeps the car straight. And we race on. 26 laps to go. DJ Stagner's looking to snap the streak Tyler Hampton holds of 3 consecutive season finale wins. And finally go for his own. Stagner, while he's been an outside championship contender, has been remarkable this season as well, with 2 victories, and he might be able to tie Scott Zellner with 3 if only he does it today. DJ is a multi-time former champion. He is tied with Lucas Lodato, of course, when it comes to the metric of how many starts he's made up in the front of the field, of course, multiple victories. He has that big one from Pocono, which is well remembered, and he really came out on the scene and showed that he still had what it takes. Now, 53 points off the championship this season really didn't turn out to be his for the title, but he ended up playing a major supporting role, and that's something that Swamp as a collective has done better than almost any other organization, having those different roles for different drivers. You've got the leading man, that has been Lodato. You've also had DJ Stagner, the primary supporting man. Sebastian Miller has turned into the secondary supporting man, who is up in the top 5 of the championship standings. And then you look back at Holder and Ty Smith, both drivers who can go out there and take a podium, take a win when it matters most. Swamp Motorsports is remarkably well organized in that regard, and they have taken this field by storm this year. That's been the separating factor between that program and any other. Coming to 22 laps to go this time by, and for the final time this season, we are going to crank it up with Whiplash Sim Cams, iRacing's best camera provider, and if you want to join the fun, you can do so for free. Camera trial packs are provided for free on their Discord platform today, so visit their social medias at Whiplash Sim Cams to learn more. A special shout out to our friends at Pit Stop TV for welcoming us to the Whiplash Sim Cams family. We'll return right after we get live and loud with 22 laps to go from the Lady in Black. Let's crank it up from Darlington. Only 18 laps remain on the campaign as Scott Zellner has turned himself into pit road and now finds himself 2 laps down after a 55-second pit stop. Slow in, slow out for this crew, and it looks like now Scott is far off the lead lap, and his only hope for the championship comes down to that caution which we mentioned. It looks like the green flag pit stop cycle, which we didn't expect to see come through so late, is going to take this 2 team and bring it all the way to the back. Strategy, sometimes a dice roll, and it looks like in this championship fight, the number 2 ended up on the wrong side of the roll. He's currently running in 11th place, trying to make as many spots back as possible. He'll make up 10th right now as Kunman rolls out. 17 laps to go. DJ Stagner here, still leading, and he's doing a great job at that, coming across the line. 16 laps remaining, and he's 5 seconds up on Lucas Lodato. Number 70 of Matt Muir, 7 tenths behind. Maybe he's got one more shot at getting Lodato as well. Lucas, he does have the same age on his rubber as both Muir and Stagner. Just comes down to how these guys have been treating their equipment tonight. Those subtle differences are making changes. Matt Muir right now is about 7 tenths out. The gap has been fluctuating for the better half of this stint. He's been as close as a half second. At other times, it's more like a full second. But otherwise, Matt Muir still holds on firmly to a podium position. Sebastian Miller is now 5 seconds further back on the 70 car. Your top 4 drivers are separated by 12 seconds. Your lead lap only consists of 6, the last of which is Scott Wheeler, and Wheeler's now on a 66-lap run. I don't know whether or not he's going to go on a pit road at this rate because he's trying to go every lap he can, desperately awaiting a big break. Yeah, he's going to go 1 lap down. Doesn't even have the pace to hang on here. Inside, letting him through. It'll be now 14 to go for the field. There's Hampton. And this number 97 crew dropping back big. Jimmy McKee also on a 67-lap run. He's in 5th place here, and almost everyone else has conceded and gone down and in. Scott Zellner now runs in 10th, and it looks like after what was an amazing season, I'll tell you this much for Scott Zellner, he put himself back together in the second half and closed the gap to 14 points. And 1 point in the season, the championship standings, the gap between Lucas Lodato and the next driver was over 50. Just to be entirely clear, it looked like there was going to be nobody capable of even getting close to Lodato based on how he started the season with nearly 4 consecutive wins. Zellner got there. He put the effort in to make it as close as they came, and even if tonight doesn't turn out exactly his way, the driver, the number 2, has put in an amazing effort to prove he is not only as good as any other driver could come, but still about as good as they come in his own. Scott Zellner's prime has been everlasting, and the winningest man to ever do it keeps on winning. 11 laps to go. DJ will come next to 10. Single digits are up next. 1 down to pit road. That's Jimmy McKee. McKee's going to have to concede here, and you'll see DJ Stagner coming by once again. DJ makes it through. Jimmy's on pit road. Sean Billman is stalled on the racetrack. They don't throw a caution. He was there for the better part of 25 seconds, if not more. Watch this. Out of 4. Dives low. And luckily perhaps for Lodato, I'd say, the caution isn't thrown here, but he gets out of everyone's way and there's no harm, no foul. How about that? Sean Billman, he's going to get out of harm's way. He's 8 laps down now with 9 to go. 15th as it stands. DJ Stagner's far out. He's got enough position here to hang and cruise to the finish. The yellow flag does not fly. It looks like it's all DJ. Meanwhile, Lucas Lodato's going to have to contend for second. Only 4 drivers on the lead lap. It is Stagner, Lodato, Mirror, and Seb Miller. Dawson Buchanan might be the only driver able to get that lap back. Dawson here with Jimmy McKee. Far out on your leaders. And it looks like right now DJ Stagner looking to cap off the night with dominance, and there's really nobody on the level of this leading man. DJ has taken this final stint and really made it his own, leading 49 laps on the day, coming not necessarily out of nowhere, but certainly making the most out of this circumstance, and there's nobody else who's been able to touch him ever since. This would be DJ's 3rd win on the season if he seals the deal. There to the inside goes Jimmy McKee. Dawson Buchanan is coming up now and might be able to get back on the lead lap. Still not confirmed. Atmir now 7/10 again back on Lodato. They've been coming and going, stretching each other out. Still no real telling who has the better pace. Lodato's just been defending very well. Five laps to go for Lucas Lodato. Scott Zellner now up to 7th, but still 1 lap down. The deficit here just comes down to that yellow flag, whether or not it comes. The caution flies, we might just see an abundance of drivers make their way through. But at this rate, it looks like the green flag is all we need to worry about. Kunman to the inside with Chad Winstead. Looks like this is the battle for 8th. Kunman goes high. Can't quite make a move. Chad Winstead continues to battle. Side by side. Not banging the doors off each other yet. And it looks like they won't need to. Alan Cummins going to get a clear-cut edge with 3 laps to go. DJ Stagner now, the number 64, has it made. 7.5 seconds the advantage as he tries to bring home a championship for the team at Swamp Motorsport. Of course, he will not end up the championship-winning driver, but when all is said and done, his team, Swamp Motorsport, outright controlled this year. DJ is going to be able to come home 3rd in the championship while his teammate Sebastian Miller closely follows him in 4th. Now, with 2 laps remaining, the 64 just has to close out the job with about 2.5 miles. The white flag comes next. And to end our first Gen 6 season in the Westlake Royal Building Products Premier Series, the former champion brings them through. 1 lap to go for DJ Stagner. Stagner's 3rd win on the season and his first full-time campaign in more than a year shows that even though DJ is one of our veteran champions who did it many a year ago, he still absolutely has what it takes at the highest level. DJ will take his 3rd of the season and bring Swamp Motorsport back to victory lane one final time. Checkered flag flies for DJ Stagner. He'll take race victory as he ends the season a winner from Darlington. But 8 seconds behind, Lucas Lodato, in the most dominant season the Swamp has seen in years, finishes the job. Lodato is not only a 2nd place finisher, but a champion from the Lady in Black. Lucas Lodato, 4 victories on the season, 8 top 5s, 11 top 10s, and his maiden championship in his Highline Racing League career. Undeniable. The championship leader from the beginning of the season in Daytona to the very final moments in Darlington. Logano is your champion, and the Swamp sweeps the year. With the entire team together, no better time or place for the Swamp to celebrate. Race winning, championship, 3 drivers in the top 5 in the race and the point standings. And DJ Stagner, of course, taking it through. Entire team coming together around their winning man. And what an effort it was tonight. Season 19 comes to a close. It finishes the way it started. They're going to pull through and push Lucas Logano off the racetrack. One final stunt for the Swamp as they'll parade their champion winner around the circuit. Just as they did in Daytona. That's where it all began for this team this year. Season 19, Daytona was the turning point. And often we don't say that the restrictor plate tracks mean too much for what's left on the calendar, but if you look at that race and look at the organization and the connection that team had, it was unmistakably what Swamp Motorsports was going after for several seasons. When they wanted Lucas Logano, they knew he would bring that it factor back to the team to win a title. And now, shades of that February day, they'll parade around their newest driver and their newest champion. Five drivers that changed this season outright. They'll come one more time to the start-finish line to really put a cap on the year. Race results from Darlington go as follows, with DJ Stagner winning over Lucas Logano, Matt Muir in third with his career best finish, and fourth for Sebastian Miller. Fourth on the day then goes to Dawson, of course, Seb Miller, and Dawson Buchanan is in fifth, with Scott Zellner in sixth, Alan Cum in seventh, Chad Winstead in eighth, ninth for Colton Gardner, and P10 then and there being Tyler Hampton. 11th place on the day. Immediately thereafter will be the driver, the number 48, in Jimmy McKee. Then you'll have Jim Fott 12th and Scott Wheeler 13th, Terry Brooks 14th, and Sean Billman 15th place. Ryan Potter goes 16th, with 17th in Connor Holden, 18th Matthew Rodriguez, 19th place Joshua Sim, and Adam Bozzi conclude the top 20. 5 drivers on the day, 21st in Jacob Halm, and 22nd in Ty Smith. Lucas Logano makes it onto the podium, and again, the 4th consecutive season where drivers who win the championship do not win the final race. But I figure that for Lucas anyway, that doesn't matter all too much, and we're about to bring in your race-winning driver now. As the results have been tallied and it is all official for the 7 crew, Lucas Logano, you're here with our league owner, Adam Bozzi, to be presented the Season 19 championship. Adam, take it away.
Yeah, on behalf of the Highline Racing League, Kendall Kerr, Toby Wedgwood, myself, Adam Bossy, we are excited to announce that you have won the Season 19 championship. So congrats on a stellar season, 4 wins on the book, 8 top 5s, 11 top 10s, and a whole lot of bonus points. So congrats again on your Season 19 championship. You'll get an extra 10 bonus points towards the 2025 year-long championship as well.
Thank you so much. It was a great year. I didn't know what to expect coming into this with these cars. I was past my, before my time with iRacing with these cars, and I really, honestly, it was kind of lucky that I even did the season, because I didn't think I was going to at the end of last season. And when I saw that the entry fee to the league was only $5, I was like, well, now I don't need to pay extra to enter the league and buy the car. So let's do it. And all the stars sort of aligned, moving over to a new team, being able to lead from the championship from start to finish. Like you said, all those bonus points really helped me, obviously. I just felt like we were up in the front a lot of times, and the really only bad race that I felt like was just me being not great was Pocono. The rest of them, I was either just caught up in the wrong place or on the wrong strategy, which, that just kind of led me behind where I should have been at the end. And the rest of it, I was just in and around everybody, and I'm happy that it came down to be exciting at the end there, and it wasn't just me sort of pulling away. It was nice to have Scott as a championship rival. Get to say that you went head to head with the best and beat him in the league's history is really something I can hang my hat on. And so I'm really, really ecstatic about this.
Lucas, when we look at this season, of course, it's the difference between your previous runs where you've been known as the road course ace and you have taken oval victories before, but the turnaround and the consistency at every style of track, as you said, maybe only Pocono, the one race that really wasn't yours, but otherwise the improvement across the board, such a difference from previous seasons, and that really elevated you. What helped you bring that to the table, because it proved crucial even tonight?
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like, I think it just kicked off at a good note with Daytona. I think probably for the first time in my whole Highline career that I actually felt, obviously a win is great, but even just making it to the finish in the top 5 or so was an achievement all of its own. And having that start was just such confidence inspiring to be able to just continue on the season and know that I had that cushion. And these last 5 or so races, seeing it shrink and shrink and shrink, and really being, after last week, how it went for me, and just crawling around with a damaged car the whole time, it's just really, really frustrating, just to see that lead shrink even more. Scott was on such a great run there, and honestly, just tonight came down to strategy that really made the difference. But yeah, it's just overall, the new team, I got to thank my Swamp guys. They have really, I think I've mentioned this before in interviews, but they have really brought me along and, included me. And I can really say that I got an awesome group of friends. And, I also got to say thanks to Adam, you, and, everybody for putting the league on, for also being the one who brought me into the league initially, and gave me a home at QCR. I know things didn't work out for me to be able to run there this year, but I have, it's just rules things. I'm not at all upset about that. I had a fun time over at QCR, and I'm having a fun time at Swamp. So, it's just a great achievement for Swamp. I think it's their first title in Highline, obviously my first title. So, just all around, just happy for everybody involved with the team and everybody, that helped me get here.
And of course, big team effort for the Swamp. And of course, we're going to talk to DJ Stagner. He ended up winning this race as well. But talking about the overall team performance, elevating it not only for yourself, but as that group effort, how important did you feel that was in the plane of your successes?
Yeah, huge. I mean, the last few years running around DJ and, him being, some of the hardest, if not the hardest competition on a different team is so difficult because, you never know what he's doing. And being able to team up with him and Connor and Ty and Sebi, and Sebi's a great driver too, and everybody is. This is a hard league to win in, and I think just having each other to balance off of and give each other some ideas, and we all add a very specific thing that helps everybody else go faster. So it's just a great combination. There's just everybody's good at something, and we all help each other go fast every week.
Everything comes together for a remarkable season. 15 races, and I'd say in your Highline Racing League career, these were your 15 best outright. A champion at the end of it all. Podium finish tonight, Lucas. Anything else you'd like to leave us with before we head on to our next season and wrap this one up?
Yeah, thank you for putting on the broadcast every week, and for all your support. Thank you to all the admins who put it on. I've already said enough thanks to my Swamp guys. Thanks to everybody that watches. Thanks for everybody who's helped me get here, and thanks to Westlake Building Products for sponsoring the series. I'm excited to see if I could continue this push in the next season and maybe challenge for that year-long title. So. I'm over the moon right now. I don't really even know what to say.
What a championship and what a season for this 7 crew. Lucas Lodato makes it through for the Swamp Motorsport Brigade and brings the Swamp up to the top of the championship pylon. Dominating season from flag to flag. Thank you for your time, Lucas. Congratulations on the championship.
Thank you so much, David.
With Lucas Lodato on the way, we're going to get a word next from the number 64 of DJ Stagner. Today he finished first, of course, getting a big win and netting one final checkered flag for Stagner. It's been a resurgent run for the 64 crew and just emblematic of those Swamp Motorsports successes. DJ, top 3 in the championship points and a final win to cap it off. What a way to go out for season 19.
Yeah, good night overall. Really happy for Lucas. Glad that everything worked out the way it did for him. Glad everything worked out the way it did for me. I'm not going to complain, not going to, be upset about winning the race. It was a great night. Honestly, feels good to go out like this and, on a high note. It's been no questions asked. It's been a rocky season for me. Been ups and downs. So glad that we're going out with a Swamp championship and a 1-2 finish. Like, we'll take that all day, every day. Couldn't get much better.
All things considered, starting tonight off, it was all about what was happening for the championship race. But, of course, every driver is entitled to going out there and fighting for the win. How did you position yourself in this race particularly to get up there and eventually stay up there? It looks like the clean air carried you home.
So I stayed out on the first caution. It was like lap 25 or something. I stayed out in hopes of saving a set, and I think it was just me and Ryan, and like a lap after the restart, I crashed myself and completely destroyed the car. Or let me take that back. The car was not completely destroyed, but it should have been completely destroyed. I got extremely fortunate. It was only like 20 seconds of optional and got it fixed. And luckily, just honestly, the way the strategy played out for me, I was able to take a set on the last caution, and it just worked. So, I mean, a lot of good fortunes for me tonight, because my race should have been over on lap 27 because I jumped the car. It should not have drove home, but just good fortunes. That's all it was.
Everything works out not only for this race, of course, pulling away with that dominating 8.5-second gap, but also for what was a remarkable season for you, returning to that full-time effort in the Highline Racing League and coming through with 3 victories. Now, Swamp Motorsports as a whole, remarkable this season, pulling together for more wins than any other team. You, Lucas Lodato, Seb Miller, all top 5 in the championship points. For you, you've been with the team for a while at Swamp. Were there any differences you noticed that made this all possible?
I think really we're a very laid back group. Like we'll be in there in the race just talking about whatever. Like we're not hyper focused, and I think honestly that helps us. So we have fun. Like we make it fun. It's not just about, hey, let's lock in and be sweaty and try to win or whatever. So we just enjoy it. And I think if you enjoy it, it leads you to be able to make bigger risks that you otherwise wouldn't take. And a lot of times those pay off. So it's just like, I really think the laid back attitude has helped us a lot. I think that was a big help for Lucas this year. Just being able to relax a little bit, I always knew that he was going to be a Highline champion in the future. I'm glad that it happened with us. I'm very happy about that. So, we'll see what the future holds. I don't see a reason that we shouldn't go back to back, Swamp, to be honest with you.
And you talk about season 20, so we have to ask, what are your personal goals as a driver? Maybe a chance to go a few steps higher in the championship points, or let it play out for the team?
So me personally, I won season 10 of Highline. I think my new goal is to just we'll get 10, 20, 30. Like I'll be happy taking one every 10 seasons. So yeah, I think next season it's championship or bust for me.
Another shot to go out there and maybe make it 10 seasons, closing the gap. Second title. DJ Stagner winning to finish it off, and watching your teammate Lucas Lodato bring victory to Swamp as well here from Darlington. Anything else you'd like to add to bring it home?
Well, just shout out to Swamp, everybody, Ty, Connor, Ryan, Sevi, Josh, Lucas, obviously. He had a great season, so really happy for him. I'm glad it all worked out, and looking forward to next season. Thank you to Adam and everybody involved in the upper management of the league. It hasn't always been super smooth between myself and them for various reasons. Most of it my fault, some of it not. So happy to be here. I love Highline. That's all I want is for it to thrive. And right now it seems like it's in a pretty good place. So just looking forward to the future.
DJ Stagner coming home with another victory and taming the Lady in Black, P3 in the championship standings as well. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
With DJ Stagner on the move, you've heard from two of our Swamp Motorsport drivers. Last to hear from on the day, not with the Swamp, but a remarkable performance as well. Matt Muir making it home for a third place finish and arriving to the podium in our final night of competition. Matt, a great drive for the 70.
Thanks. If you told me at the start of the season that my best finish was going to be at Darlington of all places, I would have called you a filthy liar. I'm still not entirely sure how this happened.
And tonight, playing out well from the beginning to end. It's not to say you didn't have pace in qualifying or at the beginning of this event, but really turned in your favor with that final stint, getting clear track position and pulling out from there. Could you walk us through the step-by-step of this one? Because I figure maybe both of us were shocked here, but most importantly, you were the one delivering on the racetrack.
Yeah, so it was me and a couple of the Swamp guys who were all kind of wound up on the same strategy of staying out on old tires, like the previous one or two restarts. Because you break down the race, it's like if you were going to be even on tires, you would have been putting every 35 laps, right? And because we had the early cautions, we were kind of behind on a set. So it was at that point where it's I need a set at the end in case we get a caution. I'm willing to kind of ride it out in the meantime. It just kind of worked out where we didn't go a lap down. We fell way off the pace. We didn't go a lap down. We got that caution. And everyone else now was on the save a set for the end. We got to put on fresh tires. And of course, that's when it went green to the end. And for once, it kind of worked in my favor. Usually I'm the guy who's going to be nah, I'm going to stay out on tires. And then we go green to the end. And now I'm on an old set and I have a set in the pits that's not getting used. But for once, it worked out.
Strategy calls.
From there, it was just right to the end.
Well, I'll tell you what,
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, Matt, talking about the strategy calls in particular, it's so challenging to map it out at Darlington here and really no one else around you to help up in front. So was there anything that you were doing from inside the cockpit to work out the numbers as they went by?
I'm a big yapper in the team room. I never shut up. So a lot of the times, even if I don't have someone to bounce strategy ideas off of who's running with me, I'll just kind of work stuff out. And if someone's like, hey, you're an idiot for thinking that, maybe I'll reconsider. But no, it just worked out for once, just kind of it felt like the right call at the right time for once, and it was either going to work or it wasn't.
And tonight, taking that gamble proves to be perhaps the best move you made on the season. And this is a lot of momentum to bring into Season 20. We got time, of course, off. We are most likely going to have at least more than a month and a half until we get back for our next season. But a night like this is going to keep you firmly inside the single digits of the championship standings. And it looks like you move up to 8th to finish off the campaign. So a great season up there in the championship points and showing those race over race improvements. What's the next goal now with this podium to finish off the campaign and, of course, the best finish on the season?
Well, if I want to be really optimistic, I'm going to say I want to win a race. The more I think about how Kansas played out, the more I think if we don't get that caution with a couple of laps to go, I think I'm in the best position on tires and on the track position to win that race. And then the rest of the season, every other track that we went to that I thought I had a shot at, something happened. So it's nice to finish the season strong, especially at a track where I didn't expect it. The thing is going to be, more than anything else, what car we go to for next season. I think if we stay with Gen 6, that's just more experience to build on. I've heard people talk about maybe wanting to do Gen 4 once that comes out, and that's going to be an unknown from everyone. Or, like, you know, if we do something else, it's going to be a whole relearn everything all over again.
Hoping perhaps to add some of those pages to the notebook of this season, Matt, and those dividends have been showing and growing week after week. 3rd place on the day, qualifying 5th, and ending season 19 on the highest of notes. Anything else you'd like to bring to us here as we finish our season at Darlington?
Just want to say thank you to my teammates for putting up with me yapping in the team room every week, and thank you to the admin team for putting up with our BS every week.
Matt Muir, final podium of the season, taking 3rd place, and the number 70 crew gets it up to the top 3 here at the Lady in Black. Thank you for your time, Matt.
Thanks.
First-time podium sitter Matt Muir gets it done and made it a close fight between he and our eventual champion. While DJ Stagner, of course, comes away with the race win, all eyes on Lucas Lodato. 4 victories and a title in his first season with the Swamp. The expectation is set once again. Season 20 might just be an even better season for the Swamp, or we might see the competition floodgate burst wide open. We've got a little bit of time until that point, though, and we'll return at the end of the summer. It was, by all accounts, a remarkable season working with the guys here at the Highline Racing League, and I can't thank enough Adam Bozzi and the entire admin crew for having us on again for now 6th season. Unbelievable. 14 to 19 we've covered consecutively here on FTN Broadcasting, and we are especially grateful for the opportunity each and every time around. Every race has been such a thrill, and this season was no exception, bringing the Gen 6 package to you, and of course the drivers bringing it to life. From the virtual Darlington Raceway, you've been watching coverage of the Westlake Royal Building Products Premier Series. Thank you to Westlake for your premier partnership, of course, bringing the title sponsor to this field. Congratulations to race winner DJ Stagner and champion Lucas Lodato for Swamp Motorsports sweeping the manufacturers, of course, the teams and driver championship. I've been your host, David Kreutz, commentating and producing. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always greatly appreciated. We'll see you next year, of course, and we'll see you next season. Season 20 of the Highline Racing League, next on FTN. At the end of the summer, we'll return with more action as drivers contend again for a shot at the Westlake Championship crown. Until then, thank you for tuning in this season. We hope you come back for our next events. We'll be live Sunday night with the Schumacher Racing League, and we'll return again on Thursday nights by September. Congratulations to Lucas Lodato once again on his first ever title. We hope you have a fantastic night. Thank you for tuning in to Season 19 of the Highline Racing League.